Hey there, all my friends in Dink's World. This is Dr. Jeff Horowitz, and it is another Wednesday. That means it's another hump day, and that means it's time for Humpday Happy Hour with Dentists in the Know. This is your backstage pass for current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. It's live, and it's over a little cocktail, again, out of my favorite drinking vessel in the world. We are here to bring you all of the great news of the world of dentistry and to talk to some great people, such as our guest tonight, Dr. Carla Cohn, who is a dear personal friend, a general practitioner who went down the path of pediatric dentistry and never looked back. So lots of cool stuff to talk with her about. Anyway, I am joined, as always, by two of my best friends in the industry, Dr. Chad Duplantis and Dr. Jennifer Bell. The three of us together, you know what we are? We are all dentists. We are all business owners, and we are all educators. And you know what our job is, Chad? What is our job? Tell them what our job is.
Our job is to bring all of you in the know.
So for the hearing impaired, what Chad said was
our job
is to bring all of you in the know. No sound for Chad, but we'll see what happens there later.
Wait, I can hear him.
Anyway, welcome to the show. It's great to see you. JB is waving her arms. I know you all have sound. I know you're
Are you serious?
Okay, now talk.
He can't hear any of us.
Can you hear us?
Now I can.
Oh my God.
We're like talking, and you're like talking. Yeah.
Well, I'm filling time, you idiots, because I can't hear you. So I'm trying to fill some time.
All good.
Because
yeah, I think that all of our listeners could hear us.
Yeah, they could. I actually
all of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
I pressed the mute button.
Every single one of them.
All of them.
Yeah. You know who the idiot is here. I pressed the mute button and noticed it afterwards and said, "Oh, wait a minute,
you, man. Yeah. I get you. It's like the story of my life."
Okay. Well, not my first bonehead move, but probably won't be my last.
No, it's all good, man.
How you doing? How's the week panning out? So we had a big election last night. Many people I know stayed up very late to watch it, including myself. And as a result, I am physically exhausted today. How about you guys?
Yeah, it was a pretty tiring day, man. You know, it's always a interesting day in America when that happens. But you know what? It's over. So let's,
wow.
You know, I'm tired. I am tired. I think we're all tired.
Chad, you gonna stand by that?
Yeah.
So prophetic.
Trying to keep politics out of.
I think that's a wise choice, my
friend. To be as politically correct as I can, but God bless the great country that we live in and the democracy that we have, because we all have a choice. So that's what I'll say.
How about you, JB? Did you stay up late?
I did stay up late, and I guess I went to bed about midnight, maybe.
That's not late.
It was for me.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, it was late, but I mean, they called it at 2:30 in the morning or something like that.
I wasn't awake for that.
Yeah.
But,
well, had I fallen asleep, my son Joel called me to tell me the results at 2:30 in the morning. So,
thanks, Joel.
Yeah. I gave him y'all's numbers.
Yeah, we were busy or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, anything interesting happening in the dental world?
Can I just say I'm glad it's over? Like, no more political ads for a little while, maybe.
For sure.
No
Let me
more
do that,
mudslinging
Lexi.
is what I was saying. My mic was muted that time, but I am so glad that those ads are over.
So glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know. Yeah, I think everyone, like the two of you, was just over the negativity. And
Yeah.
it's just hard to go into every day. I don't care what side you're on. It's hard to go into every day just being angry at someone else, or, thinking negatively about the other side.
So it's
It's
interesting you
tiring.
say that, because my staff members who were working the front on Monday and Tuesday just felt completely abused. I
Yeah.
don't know if everybody was just on edge about it, if the moon was in a weird crescent pattern, which I thought was only supposed to be a full moon issue, or I don't know what it was, but it was definitely off. And then I went up and I said, well, how was it today? Because, it could really go either way depending on your affiliation. And it was much calmer. So maybe just knowing the drama of it, I don't know. Maybe that calmed everybody down. Like, it's answered. Whether you like the answer or not, there is an answer. And
Right.
like, now we're moving on and the ads can stop and the anxiety of what will happen is over. And anyway, I don't know.
Regardless of which side you were on, if you had money in the stock market, you made money today. So that's
So
not
did
a bad thing
Bitcoin.
for anybody.
Bitcoin went bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was actually pretty fun to watch, all of that,
Yeah.
So now,
You
how
could
long
pretty
will it
much
last?
guess who was going to win based on how Bitcoin started running. Like, there was definitely a correlation.
Hey,
And I was
one thing that I really got into last night was the betting odds for the election.
it's wild to watch.
It's wild because they just the instinct is so different than everything that's going on. I mean, you can't see what's happening, but you see
Right.
odds of one going up, odds of one going down, and it was fascinating to
Where
watch.
was that, Chad? I wasn't even aware of that, to be honest
If
with
you
you.
just Google election betting odds, it's oh shoot, I'll give you the name here of the company, and a lot of the news pundits were using it too. Maxim Lott and John Stossel.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And
Stossel was doing it?
Yeah.
yes, yeah, and he has been for years. And it's really funny because when several years ago you watched, and at the beginning of the Trump Biden election, Trump was always ahead, and he got up to like 60, and then he dropped like
Yep.
instantaneously into the mid 40s, and then it kept dropping after that as throughout the night after the stuff started coming in. But this one here, it was like it started off in the mid 50s, and yesterday it went up 40% throughout the process, and it was updated every 20 minutes, and it was really fascinating to watch it.
That's
Up, down,
cool.
up, down, but it would go up a lot and down a little, up a lot and down a little. It was really fascinating to watch it. I wish there was a graph that you could actually share, but it was really fascinating, and I realized the news people were watching it too.
Great. Something else I can get consumed with.
Well, it won't happen for another 4 years, so there you go. There you have it.
All right. Well, guys, it's great seeing both of you. JB, do you have some news for us?
Of course.
Yeah.
Way to take my
some
first
really interesting news.
way to take my first, story. That's fine.
No, I'm not gonna.
It was the election, bozo. I'm just kidding.
No.
If you didn't know this by now,
I'm not
you
gonna.
must be living under a rock.
And I'm not muted. Okay, we're going away. Do the news.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
Let's go. So we're going to start with an election story only because we were just talking about the election and the results here in the U.S. And it was just a week ago that a dentist was charged with threatening an election official. This individual in Florida, Dr. Richard Catwell of Tampa, Florida, had kind of had a history of making threats. He had reached out to many individuals, actually, threatening bodily harm and injury to them over the last couple of months. And eventually charges were filed against him, sending more than 100 threats of death and injury, including racially charged messages to 3 people in 2019 and 2020. And of course, this started to kind of really ramp up in the last couple of years. Between 2022 and 2024, he reportedly sent at least 7 additional threats to 4 public figures via Facebook and 1 election official, which I think was the final tipping point. He was then arrested and then being charged for threats of violence. Don't know if he's been sentenced yet or not, but as you can tell, this certainly was a heavily contested election cycle. Friends became enemies, enemies became friends. It was very weird all around. But here we are. Another dentist goes off the rails, threatening. Now he'll probably send me a threatening text as well. Regulatory issues are affecting Dentsply. So this is kind of interesting. I was watching and reading the Align investors report that came out a few weeks ago. It's always good to kind of listen to these investor calls and get a feel for what's happening in the industry. And Joe Hogan also mentioned sort of a softening of the dental economy in general, not just with Align, but just in consumer demand of dentistry, and that's what they're getting from their clients as well. And so, it's good to sort of stay on pulse. Well, on October 24th, Dentsply has temporarily suspended, or at least voluntarily suspended, their bite aligners and impression program. They are citing some FDA regulatory issues that they're running into. Some are state by state. Others are under the federal regulatory body, but they have suspended their bite aligner program. And we are starting to see Dentsply reallocating those funds, investments, and marketing into other areas of the business. So I don't know if that means it's the end of bite aligners in the marketplace, or if this is just a temporary restructuring, working through federal regulations to come back to market. If the Align report is any indication, between the softening of consumer demand of dentistry as well as the increased competition within the clear aligner market, then we may be starting to see a few of these companies experience some of the same struggles and maybe differentiate their portfolio once again. Dentsply is not a small company, so this is certainly a pretty significant decision. It was another scandalous story in the world of dentistry. Stephen Baird, an ex-CEO of a dental imaging company called S-Ray, was under accusation and was going to trial for fraud. It was an $11 million company. It was supposed to be a technology that would use ultrasound to replace dental radiography. He had a lot of investors. I'm sure many of them were dentists or had some affiliation in the dental field. This was all specific to dental X-ray replacement. He was being brought to trial for fraudulent fundraising and maybe never quite making good on the promises he was making. And then he was found dead. So Stephen Baird will never face any charges. He'll never pay the price of whatever he has cost other individuals, probably many in the dental industry, for those investments. So if you did invest in S-Ray, I don't think it's going to work out so well that you're going to be seeing back your funds. Maybe now's the time for Bitcoin. This is not financial advice, just maybe differentiating a bit. And with that, that's the news.
So, JB, you want to hear the interesting thing is that the reason that he was brought up on charges to start with was throughout the whole process, he was making all of these fraudulent claims about how well the product was working and that they had received FDA clearance for the product based on how well it was working. And he all the while was still bringing investors on, and bringing some dental suckers into the market. No one's going to see their money from that. It sounded like very promising technology. They were even, the reason I got so excited about it was the potential that they talked about for airway application.
Yeah, sure.
And it just, obviously we never saw anything. We never saw a product. And, then the next thing I know, everything was quiet. And the FBI is knocking at the door saying, hey, we've got this, we've got multiple investors and we're investigating this fraud situation. Went on a couple of years, and he had gotten all the way to sentencing. So the trial happened, got all the way to sentencing, and he didn't show up at the last sentencing hearing, and they found him dead after 3 days.
Did they ever report if it was suicide or?
I'm gonna assume they have not yet. Where they left it, because I actually got a note from the FBI, and it said we will update everybody, but obviously there can be no sentencing if there is no person. Yeah.
Do you think most of his investors were dentists or within the dental community?
I think it was across the board. I think there were a lot of people throughout medical as well,
Okay.
because they were really, really pushing this into the sleep market as well as dental. And it was just a widespread scheme, and as much money as they had brought in, I doubt that could have been raised just within dental.
Right. Well,
certainly not from us cheap dentists.
No, definitely
Thank
not.
God I'm still going to be able to retire.
Yeah, we're a special kind of cheap, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm sorry for that. And I, not in any way making light. It just really sucks. And this is what, the second or third story now that I've come across in the last 6 months of individuals that have defrauded dentists out of cash.
Yeah.
There was the real estate investor guy who disappeared. Nobody actually knows where he is. They haven't been able to find him. Another individual that raised a bunch of money and then the company went belly up. So anyway.
Well, Chad has a theory on all this, but
what?
Chad has a theory on all this from what I understand, but I don't know. It's long.
Well, hold on. I'll let you know the theory real quick. It was a question that I asked Todd Dubrow when he was on a couple weeks ago.
Oh, right.
Do dentists just have targets on their forehead or rear ends that says, hey, ask me for money. I'll invest.
Right.
I mean, it's like we're like the easiest target. Hey, I got this great product. You want to invest? Yeah. How much you need? Minimum 7,500. Okay, I'm in. Yep. Can I do 2?
Right. Why?
Oh yeah, bring them on. Yeah.
Can I move my retirement funds over there?
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I got some great stupid investment stories from me, so we can share those. We should do a whole episode.
We really should. This
dumb investments that we made.
That's a great show. Yeah. And actually, we should just have a panel of people come on and just go ahead, and if you say it out loud, it unburdens you of the information you have. Just say it to people so that they can just.
And here's why I'm dumber than you.
Yeah, exactly. And then everybody's kumbayaing each other. Don't feel so bad.
We're totally doing it because trust me, my wife will kill me if I tell you all the one story. But man, she thought she was going to be the richest woman in the United States. And I was like, this just doesn't sound right, Ellen. I love you, but this something's going on with this. And then all of a sudden it's like, FBI busts the largest Ponzi scheme in the United States in recent history in North Carolina. So,
all right. Well, let's do this. Let's bring our guest on because number one, she's awesome.
Yes.
Number two,
you betcha.
We've kept her waiting too long, and she's Canadian. I mean, they're so polite to us, and we're being so impolite, eh?
Hey, yeah, you hoser. You want me to introduce her?
Why don't you introduce her, Chad?
I would love to. Tonight's guest is Dr. Carla Cohn, and she is a wonderful human being. She is a general dentist, but she has, God bless her, devoted her practice solely to the practice of dentistry for children. She maintains a private practice at Kids Sleep Dentistry in Winnipeg at the Western Surgery Center. She has published several articles. She's done hundreds of webinars and live courses. She enjoys teaching all aspects of children's dentistry for the general practitioner and has had the pleasure of doing so both nationally and internationally. And I can tell you, the reviews I've heard is that she is one of the best. She also teaches in the undergraduate pediatric program at her alma mater, University of Manitoba Gerald Nisnik College of Dentistry. She's an active member of several dental organizations. She's been invited as a fellow to the Pierre Fauchard Academy and International College of Dentists. She's been recognized as Dentistry Today's leader in continuing education multiple years in a row, as well as the top 100 docs. One thing that she fails to mention on this, and I have to bring it up because I'm not diminishing what she does, but I'm just expressing the need for this right now. She's married to a freaking chiropractor. And my neck and upper back is screaming right now. And I could use me some Arnie right now. I mean, can we get Arnold down to Texas to work on me?
Love some Arnie.
Beyond all of that, Carla is just a fantastic human being, a wonderful person, and she's a pleasure to be around. Carla, it's great to have you here.
Do you see her hot pink microphone?
Yeah, I think she's muted or something shit like that. I don't know. I can't hear her.
Oh, hold on.
Here, hold on. I'm going to unmute her. Carla,
did she hook up that hot pink microphone?
I can't unmute you,
Jeff,
Carla. There you go.
There it is.
Help. Okay, let me go back a second. I went and I got this down from the basement just for you, Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for such a lovely introduction. I only told you part of it to say you made up some of it by yourself. So thank you. And absolutely, Arnold will come down to see you only if I can come too and fix all of your ailments.
So, hey, it pisses me off because you and we were in the same town 2 weeks ago.
We were.
We totally could have met for drinks. And I had no idea that you guys were there. Of course, I mean, it just was like, I see your post. I'm like, holy shit, we were just there. We were just there. We were just there.
You know, and it's my bad because it wasn't a timely post. I waited a week until I got home and then it got posted. So, I mean,
we totally were in the same town. We were both in Nashville together.
I'm sorry that didn't happen. But
well, I'm really sorry too.
Sorry. My whole he said, "I'm sorry."
How many minutes did it take, or was it even a full 2 minutes or 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Hashtag fulfilled.
Okay, yeah. Well, anything else I can do to help you out tonight?
The microphone.
You just threw another one out there.
I've got your Dink swag here.
Oh, look at that! Look, you got a freaking umbrella too.
Whoa, with an umbrella, because you can't have a tequila sunrise without a little paper umbrella.
Now, are you the bartender or is your husband the bartender?
No, I made this.
Yeah,
I made it this time. Not exclusively me, but this time this was my craft.
You did a lovely job.
Chad, here's the deal. While Arnie is fixing our backs in Myrtle Beach, Carla can be mixing drinks.
Right?
Carla can be mixing drinks, and then we can just have a full-on lecture the next day too.
Or we can just have a party.
Yeah,
we can do that too. Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah.
It sounds like a good time.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, so Carla, let's get into, for our listeners and for our viewers, what made you as a GP, because you very rarely hear this, that someone becomes a general dentist and then says, you know what? I don't want to be a specialist, but I'm only going to treat kids, and I'm just going to, it's just something that you never hear. So how did you go down that path? What led you that way? And then, kind of give us the chronology there and
Sure.
and the backstory.
Sure. It's not that much of a rarity because I find out now, so many years later, when I go out and I'm teaching, that there are a lot of people that attend my courses that are general practitioners that are just limited to pediatric dentistry. What their stories are, I don't know. Mine is not really that inspiring of a story. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'll leave it up to somebody else to decide what's inspiring and what's not. But so I completed I was in my last year of school, like undergrad, dental school, and the dentist that ran at that time, it was an internship. So a hospital internship, children's hospital internship, approached me and said, hey, I think that you should apply for this internship. They accepted one student. We're from a small place. And so I thought, he's asking me to apply. I mean, I should probably apply. He must see something that I have no idea. So I did the year and really developed a love for seeing kids and not a love for seeing adults. So I finished school, the internship, and I saw adults for just a little tiny bit. And this was, we finished school. We were in school for a long time, do the internship, and you just want to start your life, right? So my husband at the time, we got married at the time of the internship when it was all done. And then I just wanted to, I would have had to have left Winnipeg at the time to go and do a full out pediatric residency. And I wasn't willing to. Then, well, maybe you don't know, but you have a baby, and then you have another baby, and life happens. And before I knew it, I had developed this niche where I was just seeing kids, and I had the ability to go and do part of it as an operating room practice. And it was just working so beautifully. And the people in my community were sending me referrals because they were happy to send it to GP. I wasn't keeping the patients. I would see the patients, treat them in the operating room, and send them back. So it worked out so well. And, then life continued to happen. And then, holy cow, look back and I don't want to say how many years have gone by. So it's worked out.
It's got to be at least 15 now, right?
Yeah, at least 15. So that's how it happened. And so, GP. And then I started speaking 15 years ago. Right. And I spoke about what I did, and it became something that became very appealing to the dentists that wanted the education, because I'm speaking to them as what they are. They're general practitioners with the kids in their practice. And if I can see the kids in my practice without, having to refer them out, so can they. So that's how that all kind of just snowballed into this big package of life that I'm living right now.
Do you think, I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, for young grads who are watching this, who maybe also have a passion or desire as GPs to really focus in on kids, do you think that can continue to be a sustainable business model? And maybe what would be some of the necessities or things that they might need to do to do that? And then what training or background would be helpful for them to be successful in that particular arena?
I think it's totally sustainable. I mean, I've done it for all of these years, and I think that the new grads can do it as well. I think that it's particularly important when you are not in a big city, when you're the only show in town, to be able to treat the kids in your practice and to treat them well. And you need to know how to do it. And it's not rocket science, right? Stay up to date with what the materials are, what the methods are, what's recommended, what clinical guidelines are. Learn how to do it and do it well. So procedure-wise and patient management-wise, both of it combines to make a positive impact for your practice. And if you if you can't grow your practice from the kids in your practice, what have you got? You have to maintain the kids in your practice and grow them into great adult patients. If you're in a family practice, there's no way around it.
I love an alternative business model because school is getting so cost prohibitive that if you can go get your general practitioner license to be able to do dentistry, and GPs can really focus in and do anything they feel competent and capable of doing, and you can build that skill set in your own general practice and then specialize as you niche yourself into the things that you really like without having to go another $300,000 in debt to pursue the education. Like, I think these various business models and alternative ways to achieve a similar goal are going to become more and more important, because you aren't going to be able to, I mean, to your point, you want to start your life and your kids and you want to keep going. And then there's a whole financial burden that is starting to become a real issue with specialty programs, et cetera. So
yeah, for sure. And you know what, there's a need. You look at the percentage of specialists and the percentage of general practitioners, and there's no way that the pediatric dentist can see all of the population. So, absolutely there's a need for specialists, and there are kids in your practice that you're not going to be able to see that are going to need to be referred. But the lion's share of them, you should be able to take care of. They're straightforward kids. You just need to have the right materials, the right methods, and some patience and some patient management in order to do it properly. So,
and a whole lot of Valium.
Yeah, for the dentist.
For the
right?
dentist,
Of
right.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Or tequila sunrises. I don't know.
Or that. Yeah.
Carla,
Start 8 a.m. Yeah.
You said something that hit home a few minutes ago. You said something about staying up to date with the current procedures and the current materials and technologies and whatnot. So a couple weeks ago, you all both know Ocho, Octavio Elizondo, who's a member of our group, good friend of ours. He and I were both at a lecture, and we're trying to fulfill some pediatric requirements, and it was current updates, trends, procedures, and materials in pediatric dentistry.
Okay.
So the first hour and a half, we sat there and we looked at each other and we're like, dude, I learned this stuff in dental school. And I mean, we're in our 50s. I hate to say that, but we're in our 50s, man. I mean, dental school is a long time ago. We're like, we learned all this in dental school. And then the lecturer goes, and here's something new. Now, I haven't done this yet, but I plan to next week. And he and I just kind of looked at each other and we're like, current trends, updates, materials, techniques, and technology in pediatric dentistry. And the first new thing we learn is an hour and 45 minutes in, and we have not done it yet.
Right.
Where has the time gone?
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I go, we need to go to one of Carla's lectures.
Absolutely.
Because you really, everything that you do is state of the art. And so, as a general dentist who's chosen to just treat kids, I think you have so much to offer, and there's so much out there. It's just like, and that's where I'm going next time. I'm going to Carla's lecture.
Awesome.
So
you'll be my star student.
I'll just be there to check a box, because it doesn't mean I'm going to see more kids.
But it's funny. I have a lot. We're not so funny. I have a lot of people that come to my classes. Like, people go to CE for all kinds of reasons. Right? You need the credit hours. You need to fulfill your AGD fellowship. You're the guy in the office that is designated to see the kids. So you feel like you need to. I have people come because they want to learn something to take care of their own child or their grandchild. They realize they don't have this. So people come for all kinds of reasons. I forgot where I was going with that. So just to check a box sometimes happens when people come to the course, but you don't know what you don't know. And you see something when you go to any course, whether it's pedo or endo or prostho or whatever. You go to a course, and then lo and behold, some days or weeks later, some patient comes across your path and like, hey, I remember seeing that, and maybe this would be a good thing for that patient. So even just for the exposure and the knowledge as to what's out there and what's new. And if you're not using the product, you probably shouldn't be talking about the product.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. What
Sure.
is new as far as like alternatives to stainless steel crowns in children?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
What a sexy topic.
yeah, it is. It is.
Sexy.
I think it's a sexy topic. So
I just
you know,
like
you look.
stainless steel.
Yeah, stainless steel. I mean, stainless steel's still got like a huge place. But so after stainless steel came pre-veneered stainless steel crowns, which have some drawbacks, and then zirconia crowns came along. So prefabricated zirconia crowns, they're very popular. Then there were some other materials that were more flexible that came along from certain companies that are not as aesthetic, but a little easier to place. There's a brand new crown that is now on the US market that is called Ceramir Pediatric Crown. And it's like a resin type of a material, not quite like a strip crown, but not quite like a zirconia crown. So I think that that's got some legs to it.
Are those prefab, Carla?
Yeah, those
Okay.
are prefab.
All right. So hold on. You
Yeah.
got to pause a little bit
I'm
because
pausing. I know what you're going to
you
ask.
said Ceramir.
I knew you were
I
going
got
to
a
go
little
with
bit
that.
excited.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the composition of this, can we?
Okay, so we can. It's not made out of Ceramir. You're not the first person that has thought that.
But
or
it's got to
thought
be
that.
biocompatible, or they're not gonna.
No, it's no, it is. I mean, it's BPA free and all the rest of those things that we don't want. So
Bio-friendly.
yeah, okay. So bio-friendly, but it
Yeah.
is distributed by the same company that is distributing Ceramir, hence the name. So it's neither made of the Ceramir product. It is not, which is calcium aluminate glass ionomer. It is neither made of that, nor is it cemented with that. So it really is like a resin composite type material that then either gets cemented with a resin cement or lined with a resin composite as it's cemented. So like literally brand new. This is just come out into the States. And I just had an opportunity to trial them. But I think it's an interesting concept. So they're not, they're from they came from another country to United States, and eventually they'll make it into Canada because that's how things roll.
Very nice. Something interesting to change topics slightly, but go back to something that you said earlier, which is why it's so important that people be exposed to these other disciplines. So, you said people have multiple reasons for coming to your courses. Maybe they want to treat their own kid. Maybe they've been designated as the person that's supposed to treat the kids in the practice. What I found about CE is that it's always a pathway to something you didn't intend for it to be when you first sought the course out. So you meet someone inspirational like you, and I go, okay, this is awesome stuff, but maybe I don't want to see that many kids. How else can I use this information? So just going back, the early part of my career, I went into general practice, and we only had one pediatric dentist in the entire county. And everyone out there's heard this story 1,000 times, so I'm not going to go into that whole thing. But I started taking pediatric and ortho courses only to find my love in ortho and growth and development and airway.
Yeah.
And where I learned all that pedo, and it served me so well because I built a practice so quickly, and the largest demographic was the 10 and under. For the first 10 years of my practice, it was the 10 and under. But instead of really just staying in that rabbit hole, I said, okay, we're going from 3 nitrous cases a day to 2 nitrous cases a day to 1 nitrous case a day. I just don't want to do the dentistry on these kids but I saw all these growth and development things and orthodontic things that I did develop a passion for.
Yeah.
So it's you never know by going and learning something what direction that will take you in your clinical career. So I just thought that was really profound what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, it's true. You know, one thing leads to another. So there's that where you can, you know, find your passion related to it or because of it. But then there's just the simple fact that even if you don't want to see the kids in your practice to take care of them, when you're referring them out, at least refer them out with the right information.
Right.
You know, I mean, so many kids come with just like wrong advice. And, you know, let's do what's right for our kids and give the parent the right advice too.
Great point.
Well, and as GPs, we're bound, like whether we specialize in pediatrics or not, if you're seeing the general population, you have to be well versed in
Absolutely.
all the disciplines that we currently treat. So we have to stay up to date. We have to take your kinds of courses. We have to take endo courses, even if we hate a root canal. We have to diversify and continue to invest in the education because they, to your point, they depend on you to make the proper recommendations and then put them, if you don't want to do it, fine, put them in the hands of someone directed care to say, I don't want to do it. I know someone who can do it better than I can.
Yeah.
And we're going to work professionally and collegially together to get your baby well cared for. And I think who doesn't benefit from that scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There you
All
go.
right. Well, I wanted to talk about the materials conversation that you were getting into. I would love to know the algorithm. We have all this myriad of choices now. If
what do you do?
How do you choose? I mean, as a semi-prosthodontic adult dentist, I have an algorithm that I kind of go through as I'm choosing materials and thinking about what I think will perform well. But I don't know that I have, you know, as cohesive of a thought process on a pediatric tooth and how do I choose, you know, the right material in the right clinical situation for the right outcome.
Yeah. So, you know, you go through the thought process in your head and if you don't see kids all the time, right, you know, where do you start to your point, right? So, you know, size of the lesion and patient cooperation are paramount. And then you go from there to is the tooth near exfoliation or not near exfoliation? And on that same level, is the tooth causing the patient discomfort? And then that's going to lead you down a path of materials that are, you know, if the tooth is restorable, you know, we've gone down that path where we're saying, yes, we're going to restore this tooth. Then you go down for a little further into our hydrophilic and our easy materials and our hydrophobic and our more technique sensitive materials and choose based on that because, you know, and I say this probably every single course that I take. Well, we've got to be thinking, well, why am I not just choosing the easy materials for all of our patients? Because of course the strength of these materials is different and the durability and the longevity. So I can't go in and say, I'm going to silver fluoride and glass ionomer every single patient because that's not going to give me the quality of life of that tooth that I need in certain situations. So you go through that algorithm based on all of those things to get to the bottom line of what are we choosing? Are we choosing glass? Are we choosing composite of full coverage, pulp therapy? And then that whole pulp therapy has a whole other algorithm that you go down to choose what type of pulp therapy am I going to do? And then what material am I going to choose? Because beyond in each of those categories, when we get down to that bottom line and I say, yeah, okay, I'm going to do composite resin. I mean, how many composite resins do we have available to us in our field that we can choose from? And then that's where it comes in to going into like a hands-on class where you can try these different materials and, you know, I can work with it for a day and I can decide what it is that I like in the handling better than other materials, and taking that information from somebody that, to your point, Chad, has actually used the materials and can show you what their long-term results are for those patients, not a 3-month trial either.
Or no month trial.
Or no month trial.
Or no month trial.
Yeah. Those are not reliable.
It was
Hey,
a next
maybe
week
you were a
trial.
part of the experiment, Chad.
It was a next week trial. I'm going to try this next week.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah. It sounds like it's promising.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
We're thinking about possibly considering the option of discussing whether or not there's a feasibility study that will allow us to consider using this material in certain applications.
Right.
But
sure.
I guess this person that put it that way, that's way better than the other person that was talking about all of the benefits of certain types of ultrasound and you know, right?
Right.
The
oversell and
It's the
underdeliver.
best.
Oversell,
He was underselling,
right?
and no delivery.
Right?
Yeah.
Because what if I go to this course and I say, we're going to use that crown, it's fantastic, and then I've got 100 people in the class that are then going and using it on 100 other people, and I'm like, oh my God, what
What have I done?
What have I done? Right?
Carla,
the
you
impact
and
of
I both
malpractice.
know, we all know that there are plenty of situations where someone has stood up and told us about a material or service that really had not been vetted very well.
Yeah. It brings back some memories.
Yes, it does.
So this is maybe a controversial question, but do you have any issues within your community with, you're only seeing children and the pediatric dentist per se?
I think the people that have issues might be their problem. I think that so I guess the short answer is, of course, always there are people that get worried about their turf when they feel that somebody is coming in and maybe doing what they should be doing. But I've never ever said I'm a pediatric dentist, and I've always maintained what I am. And if people want to collaborate with me, that's their gain. And if they want to shoot me down, go ahead.
I love that answer. So we have a really good friend of the show that's an endodontist, and he teaches GPs endo.
Yep.
And he's like, you know what? I can't do all of them.
Right.
I might as well, if I'm going to keep doing this, I want to show you how to do them better.
Well, absolutely.
Because I'm so busy that I can't do it all, So
right. And let's think about why we do what we do. We're taking care of patients, and if we're not working towards the benefit of the patient in globally, why are we doing this? I mean, I'm sure that all of you have people that reach out to you from all kinds of places asking for help and asking for questions. That's what we do. We help people, and we answer their questions. And being out there and having your face on social media and all of these things that you do and that I do, I have people from all around the world that will reach out and ask me for questions. And one of my kids said to me, well, they keep asking you because you keep answering them. I'm like, well, they're asking, I'm gonna answer. If I've got help, if I can help this person help their patients, or even just help them be a better dentist, why wouldn't I? So it's what we do for, I guess, the love of our profession too, right? Otherwise all of us would be drinking our tequila sunrises by ourselves or with our families and not spending, I mean, how many hundreds and thousands of hours do you spend doing what you do and promoting the profession in the way that you promote it? Nobody's forcing us to do this. You do it because you love it.
Right.
No,
Well,
we do it because of the millions that roll into our
Of
course,
mailboxes.
that's
Of
it.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
besides that,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Besides
too.
the obvious.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's really funny. Jeff and I were at this conference, it's 2 years ago this month, and David Rice and his group did a little short Instagram segment, and they pull you to the side, and they're like, "How much do you make?" And it's a total joke. Okay, it's a total joke. We all came up with these ludicrous answers, and the hate that we received
Oh my
on
God.
Instagram was like,
Oh.
like they ask you an asinine question that you're never going to answer. 'Cause quite
Yeah.
honestly, most of us don't know the answer.
Right.
And
That's
then
actually
give
factually
this,
true.
you give this ludicrous freaking answer, and people are like, "Oh, that's why dentists are such dicks." They just come up with some answer and da 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 da. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there reading through this, and my stock and
He
trade
couldn't answer
comment
because
was,
his private jet was waiting on the
Exactly.
runway.
Yeah.
and
Right.
I must have, I just copied and pasted this. It was a joke, folks.
Right,
It
right.
was a joke. It was a
Oh.
joke.
Calm
It was
down.
a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Calm.
So, one of the real questions that I have now that we go through this is, what do you find value in a laser in your practice?
I think lasers are great. For me, the way I practice, it's not great because right
Okay.
now, like the last 3.5 years, I'm solely in the operating room. And for me, in the operating room, laser's not fast enough for like a hard tissue laser's not fast enough for what I need to get this kid in and out. But I have used soft tissue lasers for frenectomies in the past. Some people use lasers for their pulpotomies. So I think that they've got a great place, and a hard tissue laser I think has a great place in a pediatric practice or general practice seeing kids. I think that there's a place for it, not in my personal realm of my little world right now.
The only reason I ask is because a couple weeks ago we had an orthodontist on, and we talked about myofunctional therapy and all that stuff. And the myofunctional therapist refers like almost every single kid that has a tongue tie to a general dentist that solely treats kids, that has built a really reputable laser practice.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if that was part of your practice as well, because it's this is a general dentist that only sees kids, a lot of what you do, but she's really incorporated lasers into her practice. So I was just curious.
No, I think that's a great niche, and I think that there's a great need for it, and I think there's a great need for an educated person to be
Look at
able to
your
be
fucking-
doing it. She wants to get in the whole room. It's like,
Oh, he wants in so badly.
should I let her in?
Yeah.
Let her in. Mine
Okay.
was just on my lap. Mine was
We're all
just
done, people.
Okay,
Go
give
ahead,
me
let
1
her in.
second. I'm gonna undo.
Okay.
Hang on.
Did y'all
Go
see
get her.
her?
Talk
She was like,
amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
did
It's like
you see
Rosie,
her?
I did.
Rosie girl, my Rosie girl.
Oh, she's fine. Bless her heart. Oh, she's happy. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There she is.
Okay.
That's
Oh my
Sally.
God. The trauma. This is Sally.
Uh-huh.
And Lucy's on the ground because Sally always takes what Lucy wants,
Right.
which is
of
my
course.
lap right now.
Are they golden doodles or?
They're golden doodles.
Oh, they're adorable.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a shame they have no energy.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God. Okay, one
And
there.
depression.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to
lethargic
keep them out of the
even.
room because they can be a little noisy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
Carla, I want to change gears for a second because
it.
you've been you mentioned that you've been lecturing for a while, and that's how we got to know each other.
Yes.
But you kind of taken that to another level now with what you're doing. So why don't you tell everyone out there about some of your ventures now with continuing education and what you're doing and your new company?
Awesome. So I started a new company. It's called Lit Smile Academy, and it is active and happy. I've done a few. This is fairly brand new within the last couple of years, and so I've done a few hands-on courses. I did one in Winnipeg. I did one in Vegas last year. I just did one in Chicago. And right now, those last 3 have been all pediatric dentistry. for the general practitioner, and
Hands-on?
hands-on. They've been all hands-on courses. And so I go through, whenever I do my courses, it's typically a snapshot of what you can expect in the different scenarios in your practice. So I'll go through your glass ionomers, your composites, your full coverage, your pulpal therapy, and other things that need to be known in your practice. And so my next course, my next hands-on course is going to be in June in Vancouver. And it's going to be another full day pediatric dentistry. But then what I've also got coming up is I've got a travel CE. So this is going to be what I want to create with this is I want to create like a luxury travel niche where you can go to a really nice place and do your dental CE and meet other people. My whole passion behind the continuing education is I want people to be able to go to these continuing education courses and to have an environment where they can feel empowered and be able to ask the questions and not feel like they're being judged. So I digress for a moment. So November, so a year from now, and I've just put it live on my website. I don't have the details on it yet, but I have the dates. So in November of 2025, I've got a week booked at Playa Mujeres in Cancun. And it's going to be a combination of myself and an endodontist colleague of mine, Dr. Rodrigo Cunha. So he's going to do half of the CE and I'm going to do half of the CE. And then we're going to have your favorite chiropractor do some continuing education on ergonomics because he's started doing a little bit of ergonomics lecturing. He did some when we were all together in our previous life. And he's got another course coming up. We're going to do the DentSem, the Hawaii one, where he's going to do a day lecture and I'll do a day lecture. Anyhow, so that's my Lit Smile Academy. So I am open for people to register. It's been a journey. It's been a lot of learning as I've been going along on setting this up and creating a website and getting a nice database of dentists to come and join me. So I'd love it if you check it out.
Congratulations. We need to make a course in the Murrells Inlet area because we actually are going to have a hands-on for 50 auditorium in the new office. So I think you need to be on the agenda. And so we will talk offline about that.
Okay. We'll make a date. We're going to make this happen. So, and that's fantastic. I mean, it took me like a year to get Lit Smile. I've got my AGD and my ADA certifications to give continuing education hours. So it's, I'd love to, because, we were talking a long time ago about coming out to Myrtle Beach and it never happened, but now we can have a reason to do it. So
exactly.
50
and
people.
Now it's all right. Well,
50 people, 4 teeth in the community and a lot of fish.
Bring your typodonts.
Bring the typodonts.
There might be more fish than teeth. You're right.
Yeah.
Can I bring salad?
This here's more lip fungus. He's only born one tooth that came out right at birth.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
On that note, we are at 9:29, and Carla.
Hey Jennifer, I think Jeff's cut me off.
Well, somebody's got to, I guess.
Yeah. It was time.
But what a great conversation as always. It's always great to see you, and I'm so happy to hear about what you're doing, and it's fun to see people in the profession, that have always had a passion for it, but have maintained that passion, even where we are in our careers to help others and to continue to help patients. So very cool.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It's always wonderful talking to you. And definitely. Let's make this Lit Smile Myrtle Beach happen.
Yeah.
And we'll all get together and we can have our tequila sunrises and it sounds like a fun time.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thanks,
Awesome.
Carla. Chad, do you want to close us out?
I'd love to. It's today. We just want to thank Carla for being here. It's really fun to see somebody within the profession that's found their passion and been able to create a niche practice and such a wealth of knowledge. If you're looking for education, please, please, please go to litsmileacademy.com. I've truly heard so many wonderful reviews about Carla's courses. She mentioned November 2025 in Playa Mujeres, Cancun, if I said that correctly. I don't know. I haven't been there.
Sure.
But it'll be Carla and an endodontist, hands-on, all kinds of learning, really amazing. And I think you'll be able to really benefit your pediatric offerings within your practice. So please follow Carla, go to litsmileacademy.com, and thank you for being here, Carla. Thank you
My
to
pleasure.
the Dinks for hosting.
Is someone getting a call?
My daughter is texting me. It's probably about something really stupid, but my phone
Okay.
is like sitting
I have
sideways.
no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend and hope
Wednesday.
that regardless of what happened yesterday, let's all continue to try and get along, because we can't change the results from last night. All we can do is move forward, hope for the best, and just wish everybody the best. So with all that being said, have a wonderful evening. Take care, everybody. And
Good
thanks,
night,
Carla.
everyone.
Bye-bye.